Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masterverse new Eternia figure. That's right, we are looking at Sy-Klone, and just take a look at this awesome looking figure. This is my second Syclone because I do have the classics in this, and I'm just excited to see a new incarnation of it. I think they've done some upgrades here. You can see the artwork as it wraps around the side. Skeleton type figure here being displayed on the side. Wouldn't it be cool if we got that in new Eternia form through Masterverse? That would be awesome. Some vehicles in there. That's just really neat. And then on the back we see a product shot of Syclone with some of his accessories with a little short bio. If you'd like to pause and check that out, you certainly can. And then you see the other selling points down here. We've done all of these, so check these out. And this is the last one in Wave 13 until we get that special Skeletor complete with throne. And hopefully that'll be coming sometime before June from what we hear, but don't know. That's on Big Bad Toy Store. But we're excited about getting that. Looks really cool. Looks like there's some light up effects in that Skeletor, and I think that's part of like the special big character in this wave. Seems like we've gotten at least one larger character in this wave, but in this case it's just going to be a Skeletor complete with that throne. But we see here some awesome bookend product shots here looking cool of Syclone. There's his face like we're kind of familiar with, and then in this incarnation of New Eternia he has like a mask, has a samurai type theme look to him, which is cool. But I think of him as being one of the mystic characters, like you know, magic, mystical type characters. So I've set up back here in our new Eternia set some of those mystical looking characters, or at least what I've kind of seem to consider mythical type characters. So let's come on over here and check them out. Deep inside of the mystical and magical valley of New Eternia, alongside of some other mystical and magical characters that are found in New Eternia, we are going to be looking at Syclone. And he himself is a very mystical and magical style figure and character. Some interesting mysteries behind him, and we're going to be looking first at Syclone's accessories. And first, taking a look at Syclone's hands, he comes with a set of balled up fisted hands that are both horizontally hinged, as well as two weapon holding hands that he comes equipped with, also horizontally hinged. He only comes with one head sculpt, but he will be included there with a visor, and we'll see that in just a moment. There's his sphere in his chest, like a radar. If you look very closely, there's like almost silver metal looking planets represented on the rings on the inside of that radar. And some had mentioned that their sphere had some little cracks in it. I know Manchild mentioned that his did, but mine looks good. There's no cracks on the edges of mine that I've been able to tell. So mine looks good there. So that's definitely some QC issues to look out for. But this guy looks really good so far. Also, he comes with a really neat looking shield that seems to match and go with that radar looking device in his chest. They seem to kind of match and have some similarities, which that's cool. Common theme there going on. And then you see those flame effects that will plug into his gauntlets and his shield, which we will look at when we equip his accessories. And there is his shielded mask there, that little visor that will clip onto his helmet and inside there to cover his face, which this is definitely a new take. It seems like New Eternia always adds a little bit of a flair to the overall accessory lineup or look and aesthetics of their character, so which is really cool. And I've always looked at Sy-Klone as being somewhat of a mystical, mysterious, magical type character. He's kind of got a samurai looking, I don't know, motif going on there. But I have some other mystical characters from New Eternia, or at least my Masterverse universe here, like Sunman. And you can look at my review on him, as well as one of my episodes of figures, playsets, and accessories that go well with Motu, where I use this DC figure from McFarlane Toys to be my Scrollos, the scribe of Masterverse and the Motu universe. And of course, there is Flash Gordon character, which is really cool, by NECA. And then there is our Motu Strobo back there, who's one of our cosmic enforcers. We see our Injustice, Gods Among Us McFarlane Superman. I just think he's cool to go along with this style of figures. Gwildor here with his cosmic key, time traveling key that he created. He's also a mystical type magical character, as well as our other, of course, Zodak and other cosmic enforcers going on over here, along with Thunder Punch He-Man. And there's Wondar, and there's two of the wizards from Mythic Legions that I've recently gotten, and we're going to be doing an episode on figures and playsets and accessories that go well with Motu on them, both of them. But I just think they look really cool alongside of the Masterverse figures and even the Classics figures, if you'd like. They've got their big staffs going on, and they are just so neat. So I put all of them along with our Sy-Klone just to add some flair here to the backdrop and just the overall theme that I think goes well with this very cool Masterverse figure offering that they've given us in Wave 13, Sy-Klone. Now let's take a look at him with his accessories equipped. All right, bringing our Sy-Klone in a little closer here. Let's take a look at him. Again, you have that really cool sphere type radar on the front, which is a very cool looking accessory just in and of itself. Even though it's built in, it's just so neat. We don't get like any kind of, visor type or action or movement or, animation moving it side to side like you saw in the vintage. But it is still really cool. You have some translucent pieces that are a part of that, I guess, Saturn looking, type motif. They're transparent, as you can see here in the light, as we kind of just show that with those little pieces on the side of his shoulders. That's about the only part that I can see that's transparent on this character. Even there is a little bit of almost like a translucence to his arms, but if you put them right up against there, you can't really see much light through them. But you can see that has like a translucent bubble that is on the front of that, so that is really cool. But just a really cool looking accessory, action figure across the board here. Is really nice looking all the way around. So let's go ahead and take a look at this shield first of all. Again, you can move this across his front here and just plug that right into his arm gauntlet. So he has his shield ready to go. And it would have been nice if these gauntlets had been articulated so you could turn that, so you could get the shield to go down a little bit more. But that still works for it there. So he's going to be able to, have it coming out in front of him like that, or you'd have to drop it, just drop his arm a little lower to get it to be, more vertical in direction there. But you can turn, of course, the shield itself to go around there to get those plug-ins that we see on the front or on the sides, in whatever direction you want. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and look at those flame effects, because you can plug them directly into that shield like so. So you have the ability to have that going on. And then if you're not using that, you can plug it into the back like so. And again, you can make those basically face whatever direction you want them to face. So you could have them on the back like that, which is almost kind of reminiscent of what we see in the classics and in the vintage of that, you know, circular thing on his back. But, you know, not exactly, but just kind of gives that illusion, I guess, if you'd like. And of course, you could turn it this way and have them facing downward like so. So those look really cool, even on his back there, having that stored like that if you don't want him to hold them. And then of course you can remove them and then plug them in to his gauntlets, just like so. And that's really cool looking. So you can plug those in to his gauntlets and have a really cool looking effect going on that way as well. Really neat. They just really look good. So you can see how they look. It might be better to put the fists on there because you kind of have a flying fist type effect, kind of like our Thunder Punch He-Man maybe. But looks really good, looks really cool. All right, that pretty much takes care of that part. Let's go ahead and look at the visor while we're equipping accessories. So you see his face has kind of a unique face. Has kind of these lines coming into his chin and into his eye area there below his eyes and his cheeks. So very interesting looking face, more of a realistic looking face, kind of like we've been accustomed to here with the Masterverse line, especially New Eternia. And let's go ahead and see how this clips in. You see there's some space on either side of this head. And so let's go ahead and try plugging that in, and it slides right into it very nicely. So you can see how that looks with that equipped, that visor mask. It holds very well. It's very tight, snug fit, and it slides right in with no problems at all. So that's really cool. Neat little, again, Saturn ring effects on his shoulders. Just some neat gear workings. Almost would like to paint those either a different color of blue or maybe even silver, maybe even gold. Or if I could find a metallic yellow to match that, I'd love to paint those vents a different color. But it just looks good overall. Looks nice, but it just would add a little contrast. Almost looks like they just used, you know, all of this straight, no paint, other than this, the straight cobalt metallic blue. But some little trim work would have looked nice. Maybe even some silver around the edging of this. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but it's really cool looking. Just show you the back of him right quick. You see that spherical type indenting molding that's on his back there. But looking really good. Awesome looking action figure. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our Sy-Klone's Articulation. To bring Sy-Klone on in here to look at his articulation, let's go ahead and get these arms back in place here, and you can see that his head will look up that much. Looks really good there. His head will look down pretty much all the way. You're not going to really get any head pivot on this guy, unfortunately. I wish they would figure out a way to get it where we could have some consistency on that, because I like head pivot to give them some expression, but if you try, it's just going to pop off that ball joint up in there. But other than that, pretty good articulation there. And then you can go full 360. He's going to be able to strike a full T-pose there with his arms. He also has bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which are nice on this character. We have seen recently them go away from that, like with Snout Spout, so it's cool that we have that consistent here. You have the big peg on these hands, which will also hinge horizontally and of course swivel as well. He also has excellent diaphragm. He's going to be able to crunch forward that much. He's going to be able to bend back about that much, not quite as much as we've seen some, but it'll work. He's got the really nice I call it hula hoop action there, and tripod fluid motion there on the diaphragm, as well as a swivel at the waist. He's going to be able to get full splits. The skirt pieces, you know, lift out of the way. They're very soft. He also has the drop down method, which is very tight, but you can see there, up in there, it goes, shifts up in place up in there and then shifts down. He has thigh rotation. He's going to be able to kick up a pretty decent amount, but it is really tight. For some reason, his the joint up in there is really tight, but he will be able to kick up a decent amount there. And he gets double jointed knees, so we have that going on. You also get full tiptoes. He'll be able to go up a decent amount with the boot, and gets excellent rocker joints with the peg hole in the bottom. And we didn't mention it, but he also gets his boot cut there right at the rings of that boot. So really cool. And again, that visor will just pop right on off, and you can see there, those eyes are just painted extremely well. Just take a look at those. Almost like some yellow going on inside there. So just really neat face sculpt, and just overall awesome looking aesthetics with this Masterverse version and new Eternia Sy-Klone. Awesome. Now let's do some comparisons. And taking a look at our Masterverse new Eternia Syclone next to our classic Syclone. Now I will have to tell you that my classics Syclone I did purchase on eBay, so I did not get the original head. This is actually the head that came with the Eternia head pack, classics head pack, the alternate head. And then also he came equipped with some customized hands. So these are not your typical classics hands. These are really cool looking hands that help him look like he's levitating, and I display him that way sometime on a stand, like he's levitating in the air. And he's got that cool piece that snaps onto his backpack. I do wish they had kept that in this incarnation, but you know, they had to do something different, so I appreciate what they were going for here. And of course, I mentioned the vintage having the little animation on the chest piece, but if you'll notice when we move that, it has that animation on the chest piece. I forget what you call that little sticker that, you know, like we used to see in the 80s and 90s a lot, the little stickers that when you moved them, and you still see them in Hobby Lobby along with some of the DC you know, animated artwork, where you can tilt it and it looks different. You know, they're in different poses or have different faces depending on which angle you look at it. But if you move that, it looks like the radar is spinning around, as you see. So we didn't get that gimmick, you know, with the Masterverse. Of course, most of them do not, but it's still, you know, it's still cool what they did here, I think, with him, with this bubble type effect. It just would have been, to me, a little bit better if they had made it just a tad larger, and it wouldn't have hurt anything to have given us that animation either, I think, like with a sticker. But, you know, I understand making it different. This is not intending to be another classics. Masterverse and New Eternia are their own thing. They're just inspired by classic designs, it says. So, but it's really cool, really cool. I mean, we didn't want just a complete copycat. And you see the way they did the loincloth gives it a very, very samurai looking theme, even compared to the loincloth or you know, cover piece there in the front of the classic. So you see the you know, the similarities and the differences. You know, there's that bright mustard yellow on the arms and legs, whereas here we have a little bit more of a metallic, you know, serious yellow going on. And I've seen some pictures of him alongside of the Mike Young 2000X Syclone, and he has some similarities even to him. But you can see, you know, with being able to strap those flame effects onto the shield and mounting that to his back, you kind of have that inspiration that kind of mimics the idea of the ring, but not exactly, because with this ring you could also have it ring around his body like that, like a Saturn type ring, and it, you know, if you look at it straight ahead, you don't even see where it's connected, which is cool. So, you know, there's definitely some cool things that could be done with the vintage and even the classics that was not able to be done with the Masterverse. But let me show you real quick just another option. I have a second head that came with my Eternia head pack. So let's pop that on to our Masterverse figure and just see how he looks with that helmeted head from Classics, or the alternate head. Really cool looking, yes. So you can pop that head on with a little bit of heat by a hair dryer, and I think it looks good. Looks really cool with that alternate head on our Masterverse new Eternia Sy-Klone. So, you know, if you have one of those, you could definitely enjoy that look also. Definitely the yellow is different from his arms and legs, and the blue face is different from the metallic outfit, but it sets it apart, so that's cool. And you see similarities, like, you know, the little pieces on the arm here, whereas you have the pieces on the arm here, but they are a translucent plastic. So just a lot of cool things. I mean, you got the Saturn symbol on the belt, Saturn symbol even clearer on the belt here. So, you know, really cool comparison here, I think, of our two Sy-Klone characters. Awesome. And here is our Sy-Klone next to our Thunder Punch He-Man in the same wave. Now I did put on the vintage classic style head that, and it came also with the Ultimates He-Man by Super 7. But anyway, I love that head sculpt on that body. I think he just looks so cool there, and I saw him, you know, that way also in my photo gallery of when I reviewed him, so you can check that out, Wave 13, Thunder Punch He-Man. And then there's Zodak, our new Eternia Zodak, and he is so cool looking alongside of this Sy-Klone. I just think that Cosmic Enforcers probably maybe run into this dude a little bit, maybe to you know, ally together sometimes, I think, because they just seem to be, you know, a good matchup in my mind as far as the Cosmic Enforcers working on alongside of this Sy-Klone and his mystical, magical background. And just for the fun of it, because these characters have similar color formats, I like this Sy-Klone next to our Gods Among Us Injustice Superman by McFarlane Toys. I like the way he looks. I just think he fits in great with this style of characters and the color tones here with this Sy-Klone. And then there's Strobo, and in Classics form, and you can see again, you know, against the Masterverse versus Classics, there is a size difference. The Masterverse figures are just a little bit taller, but a little lankier as well. You know, look at the arms. You know, you just have this thickness to the chest and arms compared to the Masterverse figures, but they still blend in well together. If you have some Classics and you're missing others, you can, I think, substitute them nicely alongside of each other on the shelf, and it's not that big of a difference that you can enjoy having a complete set of Motu figures, whether you have Masterverse or Classics or a mix of the both. So really cool, awesome. Enjoying this Sy-Klone already, so neat. And here's our Sy-Klone hovering next to Sunman. They're both hovering there next to each other, looking cool, as well as Flash Gordon standing there next to him. You kind of see how they fit in together. If you like mixing and matching some of your figures in a, you know, Masterverse or multiverse kind of fashion, I love Sunman. I think he's cool. I've mentioned it before, and you can check out my review on him, but I've added a little green jewel on his belt there that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, little emerald jewel, and I think that sets him off in person. It's hard to see it that clearly right now, but they just look really good together. I like pairing them up. That is a cool combo. Sunman and Sy-Klone flying into action. I see Sy-Klone as an action figure, a character that can fly with like a tornado style you know, thing going on with his feet, almost like DC's Tornado, you know, the robot. But anyway, the red Tornado. But really cool action figure. Would have loved to have gotten an effect, like a tornado effect, that could have popped onto his legs, or pop his legs off and pop that on. That would have been neat to have him fly, you know, with that effect going on. But we can use some special effects and some magic to do that, right? But they are awesome looking. Thank you so much for joining us today for this Super Dave review. And come back and see us again next time. This is the final review of Wave 13, at least until we get that Skeletor with the throne room. And just take a look at how good he looks with these Mythic Legion wizards. I think of like Lord of the Rings, you know, the wizards that pair together or work together almost. I'm going to have somehow these two working together in my Motu Masterverse or universe, and we'll be, I think, coming up with a backstory that will go along with Sy-Klone somehow. I don't know, almost thinking in the lungs of like Shazam or something, but he's just really cool, and they are too, and they are looking good together. So thank you again for joining us. Stay tuned for some photos in the photo gallery. Be blessed, and we'll talk with you soon.